Shadows creep, stories rise as the campfire reaps. Jonathan's voice, a haunting thrill. With every tale he bends on will. Echoes whisper, the night draws near. By the firelight of fierce collide, the Carolina storyteller our guide. Through the spooky, the feathering fight, fables of darkness igniting the night of the night.
Hello, folks, and welcome to Not Just Paranormal, Not Normal Either. Yeah, it's had another name change. I'll get into that at some point in time later. But we're back for another week, first week of 2025. And this week, I have joining me very talented individual who has been helping with Valmont for the past 9 months. I met him at Atomicon. He was working in booth there, showing off his skills with audio work. And we just had a chat, and he gave me his contact information. I sent him an email, and next thing you know, he was the sound designer and has been doing all of the work in turning Valmont into the product that we're putting out now. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to introduce you to the owner of FBL Studios, For Better Life Studios, Mr. Marshawn Fry. Marshawn, welcome to Not Just Paranormal. It is a pleasure to have you here today.
It's a pleasure to be
Love
here, man.
seeing you. You know, we were just talking about this before the show. It's crazy. We met last year at Atomicon, and the two of us have communicated via email. We've talked over Discord. We've communicated back and forth, but we have yet to have a chance to actually hook up or talk face to face, even though we've been collaborating
Right.
on this show for the past 9 months. It's crazy. This is the
Right.
actual first time face to face we've seen each other. We've been doing table reads, but those are all audio calls. So this is actually the first time Marshawn and I have actually seen each other in 9 months. So how you doing, buddy?
Man, not too bad. Just trying to stay above water like everybody else.
Oh yeah, no, I know exactly how that is. So for those of you who don't know, Marshawn is the audio tech and sound designer. He also does some voice work on the show. He is what makes us sound decent. Because without him, it would sound like a bunch of no talent hacks trying to put on a show, because we are a bunch of no talent hacks trying to put on a show. So Marshawn does all the magic. Um, Next up, I am happy to introduce our featured guest and her husband. This is my best friend from high school. So we met first day in ninth grade. And from then on, we were a team throughout high school. We stuck together throughout college. Um, she moved away, I moved away, but we still stayed in touch. And she's been my best friend. And she is married to one of the greatest guys that I know. And I have the pleasure of calling him my friend. And also, he's in the Valmont cast. Ladies and gentlemen, from the band Midgard, Travis and Jenn Boyls. Jen, Trav, how are you guys doing?
Hey, what's up?
So glad you guys could join us. I was starting to worry you guys weren't going to make it here.
We were late.
Now we've got a full team here. So Jen, you haven't done the show, but I think Trav's giving you the lowdown, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So he's got you all set with what's going on. So let's go ahead and get into the elephant in the room. All right. 2025 started just over a week ago. This is our first show of the year. And, you know, I don't know about you guys, but I'm starting to wonder if everybody else said this year is not my year. And like Adolf Hitler came back and said, okay, it's mine, because this year's just been crazy.
It has
so
been.
if you talk about the elephant in the room, I don't know if you guys have seen this or not, but LA is on fire. Does anybody else think that's crazy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is.
Like,
You know, I haven't been really keeping up with it, but I'm open ears for it, and I will play an ignorant devil's advocate to learn about it.
But well, yeah. So fires broke out, and I thought it was California wildfires at first. There's always this time of year somebody, California is typically dry during the winters, well, during the falls. So somebody flips out a cigarette or something, it catches the woods on fire. And just if you don't know anything about firefighting, I was a firefighter for several years. California has a the way that it is naturally formed, it is like just the perfect thing to just grow a fire, and it is almost impossible to fight the fires without major wildland equipment. So, they've got to have the planes, they've got smoke jumpers. Like if we get a forest fire here, because of the way the land is, we can sit there and we can take a plow into the forest, cut a fire break, and let the woods that are burning just burn themselves out. We don't have to do
Right.
everything they have to do. They have to get out in front of it. They have to jump in the middle of it. They have to do everything they can to push these fires back over there.
Yeah,
And
the problem
it
we had
just,
here in Colorado was we had that Waldo Canyon fire back in 2012, and they were trying their best to keep that one contained, but it was like on a Monday. It got really, really, really windy, and it just blew everything over the mountain, and that's where we started losing all the houses. Was the wind over in this part of the country just gets really brutal, and
Yeah, that's kind of the thing. Is I guess the wind has been making it worse, and it's California's had haven't had as much rain as they usually get, so it's just been very dry, and it's just the perfect storm.
yeah.
yeah, it's really crazy when you think about how the weather works out there, because you have the mountains, you have the hills, and so it is the perfect environment for fire to thrive. Here we've got flatlands, it's hilly a little bit. We don't have the steep mountains and the steep valleys that can funnel that wind directly into and feed a fire so fervently that it'll grow and spread as fast as it is. But this isn't a forest fire. This is a city on fire.
Yeah,
Um, Celebrities' houses are burning. James Woods did a whole thing where he was like, "Oh, my house is burnt down and it's the governor's fault." But the wildest thing is, and this is what struck me. Have you guys heard about this? There are people going, "Can we hire private firefighters to come and fight this fire?" Like, because LAFD's not doing it, they're looking for private firefighters. And I'm like, the reason they can't fight the fire is because they don't have enough water to fight the fire. Getting more firefighters out there isn't going to fix the problem,
no,
or water.
Right.
So they should be looking for private water, not private firefighters at this point.
yeah,
Yeah, need to be contacting
Eli
Aquafina
says,
maybe then.
yeah, Dasani, Aquafina, call one of them, see if they can get a hold of King Trident or Poseidon. I don't know what you guys think, but it's crazy to look at on the news and see just the Hollywood sign is gone. Sunset Boulevard is supposedly gone. All these $1 million houses that people have built, they're gone.
yeah.
And they're just wondering how they can. The biggest thing that's on their mind is how they can blame the governor.
Yeah,
And
and some
find
of that's
better
bullshit
firefighters.
too. Because I was reading, like Trump posted a thing or something where he's like, "Oh, he refused to divert water to the Central Valley or whatever," and people are like, "What the fuck are you talking about, man? That's not something that even came before his desk." There was like this thing in 2020 where there were groups in California that fought against a plan to divert water from northern California to the Central Valley, but that has nothing to do with the fires that are going on right now. Like the reservoirs and everything that they had, they were already full when this started. Like they had water. It's so out of control that their systems just aren't designed to handle this. So,
Yeah, and the other thing is that you're absolutely right. You hit on the reservoirs. They're complaining about the reservoirs, and you're right. The reservoirs were full before this happened. They're drained now. They've used all of their water fighting this fire.
mhm.
And they're like, well, they need to refill the reservoirs. They need to open it up so the reservoirs refill. I'm like, reservoirs fill naturally by the flow of water from, you know, you can't just magically make a reservoir fill. People's misunderstanding of science is just crazy. I think we just lost Crab and Jen for a minute. That's oh, we got
Sorry,
Jen back.
kiddos.
Trust me, I know. I've got two of them too. I appreciate it. They are just so much fun, but we'll probably get Trav back later. That's cool.
We had to
Anyway,
tell the kiddos to wait.
That's the craziness that's going on in America right now. Is we're watching all of Los Angeles and Hollywood just burn down. And if you've seen the pictures, have you guys ever seen the movie Volcano?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's kind of what it reminded me of.
It looks like when I saw the overhead, it looked like that movie Volcano.
Yep.
Like that's
Yeah.
how bad it looked.
I thought the same
Yeah.
thing.
It was horrible. But
Yeah, I
this show
haven't
wasn't about-
seen so many. I haven't seen so many pictures, but I was wondering. I didn't know you were a firefighter for so long. So, what? I don't know much about fire. So, what countermeasures do you recommend people take? So, they have to know that California is pretty dry and it's bound to, things are bound to. You think they could do to prevent like some countermeasures the governor should be taking, or even just people at home? Because I just would hate to be caught in that situation.
I know here in Colorado,
the
they
problem-
told people a fire mitigation system around their properties can work. I think there's some people that have had like their sprinkler system, just their yard irrigation system can do the trick.
Really?
The wild thing is with fire, if you can prevent the fuel from burning,
Yeah.
the fire has nowhere to go. So there are multiple ways of doing that, and the reason that the best message I can give to anybody when it comes to fire prevention is look at your house and then look around your house.
Yeah.
Hey Billy, good to see you. Welcome to the show. If you have a whole bunch of stuff that can burn right next to your house and it connects to something else that could burn and then that connects to something, you have a perfect path for fire to go from point A to point B.
Yeah, if you have a lot of
breaks out
trees
there?
around your house or whatever.
The
Yeah.
2013 Black Forest fire that happened here in Colorado is a perfect example of that. If you looked at the fire map on that, you just see that the wooded area, the foresty area, which is about 4 miles north of us, caught fire. I was in Afghanistan when it happened, so I was watching the news from all the way over there. And yeah, just like I said, the fire map just showed the area with the trees was where the fire hit the most of it. The area where it was just all grass didn't really get anything.
Yeah, it's like if your houses are close together, or if there's a lot of trees around your house and whatever, then that can spread.
But,
When you say it out loud, it
elevation-
sounds so common.
It really is, but elevation also plays a point because remember, fire rises. So like
Right.
in California particularly, you may think you have enough room because your neighbor's 100 or some odd yards away, but that 100 or some odd yards is down too. So it's not straight out 100 yards. It's maybe 20 yards, but 100 yards sloped. So
Yeah.
then when that fire gets to cooking and you've got something that's within that area, that fire can jump those short distances with the heat, especially because all that hot air is going up, and if the wind's blowing in the right way, it's going straight to it. And that's how fire spreads. So it's really has to do with when you have this, making sure that you keep your area wet, make sure you don't let a lot of dry stuff build up, and make sure you have breaks as best you can between flammable things. Don't leave everything all close together, because that's how fire spreads. And that's what we see in a lot of these communities that they're building now. You have your neighbor 20 foot from your neighbor, and then even here,
It's like our neighborhood.
when there's a house fire, and trucks are going out to the house fire, the biggest thing that we have to worry about is keeping that fire from getting to the next house. And
And
sometimes by the time we get there, it's too late.
Yeah, and when my mom was still living out in Georgetown, she lived out in Wedgefield, and the house next door to her caught fire. What happened was they ran the dryer and left the house, which shouldn't never leave your dryer running when you're not home. And the house caught fire, and she said it almost caught her house on fire. Her husband at the time, I think he went outside and just hosed down the side of the house, but we saw the damage. We went over there and visited her about a few months after this fire happened. The house next to her was still damaged, but it did melt the siding. So it could have easily had taken her house out if nobody was there to help mitigate.
Right.
And I don't want to get too deep into this, but as a firefighter, the best thing I could tell you to do is, like I said, keep space between burnable things. Because if your neighbor's house catches on fire, even if the fire department gets there in 3 minutes, sets up, and has everything ready to go, the heat that is going on in a house fire is capable of spreading just radiation heat. Okay, just the heat spreading out. It's capable of melting siding. It's capable of causing flammable materials to self-ignite. Everything has an ignition temperature, and once it reaches that temperature, it's going to ignite. So the closer you are to getting to that temperature, because the less energy it takes for the heat to go from point A to point B. So when you have your house,
thing that didn't help with that Waldo Canyon fire was embers.
Oh yeah. Well, see, that's the thing is out there you guys have with the canyons and stuff like that, your embers are going to get blown around. So you can have a crew fighting a fire over here. An ember can get picked up, carry its heat, and go a mile away and start another fire.
Exactly.
So that's where you guys have the problem.
Yep.
Here in South Carolina, if there is a fire going and we get to it fast enough, it can be 100-acre fire. We can cut a line around that fire with a plow, and we won't have that problem. We won't have that problem down here. We will have other problems down here, especially if we ever get a bad neighborhood fire.
Yeah.
Because some of these cookie cutter neighborhoods that people are paying $400,000 for the homes, where your neighbor is 10 foot away, that's just a recipe for the disaster.
We almost we had a fire when we lived out that house by Black River. Someone was burning trash, and it went right up to our backyard. No joke.
Well, I mean, now see,
that was scary.
On the fire department out there. See, the problem with out there is you had a rural fire department where you only had guaranteed 3 firefighters responding. That's all you had coming guaranteed. You had to hope the volunteers were free that day, because if not, you had 3 guys responding, and that's not even enough for interior tech. That's enough for water supply and to put wet stuff on hot stuff. That's it.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But you've probably seen it out there, the plows that we send out, those big, just massive bulldozers, really. Yeah. And they just go through and they just tear everything in front of it down, push it onto the area that they want to burn, and then drive off and let it burn out. But,
yeah, another thing too, when we were living in Maryland, in Washington, D.C. area, we had a transformer explode right next to our apartment building. And what was crazy was that we were thinking about, if we were in Colorado, that would have spread. But no, the firefighters showed up, and they just sat there and watched the fire burn itself out, basically, just made sure it didn't go anywhere else. And I was like, see, that's night and day difference between here and there.
Eli did throw an interesting point. Eli showed up in the comments finally. He said that insurance companies are already denying people in California. It's going to create more Luigis.
I saw somebody say that too. Like somebody, I think it was State Farm, and somebody was like, "Oh, State Farm CEO's on the hit list."
Yeah. I'm surprised we don't have more Luigis. that'll probably be a running topic for this show in the future. Is how many Luigis pop up. We'll have to keep that. We'll have to keep that tally going with the behave tallies for Jackie and um, whatever other tallies we have going on. We'll have more tallies going on, I'm sure, in the future. But right now, we just have a behave tally and a how many Luigis we got, because we've already got 3 so far that I know of, where CEOs have been attacked. Only one murder. So congratulations, CEOs. You're 2 and 1. You're surviving. Atomicon, May 3rd. See the banner down at the bottom. Make
Being
sure
a
you
CEO
guys
starting
show
to
up
become
for
a
Atomicon.
dangerous occupation.
Yeah, CEO is now officially a dangerous occupation. I absolutely agree with that. And it's probably going to stay that way for you the most foreseeable future. And it's just going to spread to
Oh, yeah.
other businesses as
Oh, yeah.
things get worse. As I was saying, Atomicon, May 3rd and 4th. You can see the banner down below. Marshawn's going to be there. I'm going to be there. Are you guys going to be able to make it down to Atomicon this year, May 3rd and 4th? Did you guys even get the memo on that? Or were you not part of the cast by
no.
then?
North Shore.
Oh, Charleston.
Charleston, I don't know. That's a bit
It's
of a
cool.
ways away.
So Trav and Jen might not be here. It's probably likely that they won't, because they're all the way out in Colorado enjoying all the good stuff that Colorado has. They don't have to come out here to have fun. They can have fun in Colorado. But I think Eli might be there. Jackie's going to be there. We got Paul that's going to be there. It's going to be a lot of fun. I
They
just found out
recently
today.
had a Comic-Con here, and I want to say it was maybe October. And
Yeah,
my mom, she's a
I
flight attendant for Southwest Airlines, and she was overnighting at a hotel here in Colorado Springs, which she doesn't get to do very often. And she actually ran into Ernie Hudson at the hotel she stayed at. She didn't realize who it was at first. She got to chat with him, and she was like, "Wait a minute, that's the guy from Ghostbusters," because he was at that Comic-Con.
Makes sense. Did she get anything signed? That's pretty cool.
No, she didn't get his autograph. She didn't realize who he was until after.
Believe it or not, have you guys seen the movie My Best Friend's Exorcism?
No.
No.
It's actually a pretty good movie. I saw it on Amazon. So I watched the movie, and last year at Atomicon, the guest of honor, Grady Hendrix, was there, and I met him, and he actually sat through a couple of my panels. He's like, I'm sitting through his panel, and he goes, "Yeah, there was some guy. You were the guy that I was in your panel when we did this." He calls me out in the middle of the panel. He's a pretty cool guy. You'd be surprised who you run into because of these things.
I did get to kind of sort of meet Jason Momoa back in 2023. I've got a photo op with him anyway.
It counts.
Oh, Trav.
Huh?
Photo op counts.
Yeah.
So moving forward, guys, we're going to get away from the dire. So I was thinking about movies the other day. I love old movies. And there are a couple of old movies that I feel like, Hollywood loves to do the remakes, but they never do the remakes of the movies that I want them to remake. They do the remakes of movies that really don't need a remake. You know what I'm saying? And it got me to thinking about remakes. And so I asked the question in the chat, what movie did you guys think deserved a reimagining or a remake? And it kind of went a little sideways on me, because I was trying to lead up to saying that we need to remake Smokey and the Bandit for modern times. I got a whole movie pitch too. I'm waiting for Warner Brothers to contact me so we can talk about this, because I got the whole pitch laid down. Smokey and the Bandit, only it's Smokey's grandson, and we bring the car back in the end, and we
Like
take
a reboot.
Eastbound and Down and do a punk cover of Eastbound and Down. That's right, punk. Maybe metal, probably punk. I don't think we could pull it off with hip hop. We might be able to. We could probably get T.I. on there to drop a verse, and it'd be awesome.
Yeah, he's been calling
I don't
about
think
it.
Kendrick Lamar would touch it. Huh?
So yeah, he's been calling about it.
Yeah.
So you think of like a reboot of Smokey and the Bandit. So like we're not doing a remake. We're just bringing
No, it's
up
not like
a character's grandson
it's
or son or something.
it's how they did. It's the new thing. It's called the requel.
Yeah,
It's where they kind of are soft rebooting and soft remaking it, and
kind of like what they
yeah,
did with Top Gun, but they still kept Maverick in the movie, but it was based on Goose's son.
yeah, it's an entirely different movie, but they do change it up. Eli wants them to remake Fire in the Sky. He is adamant that Fire in the Sky needs to be remade and done with modern technology. And
Based
honestly,
on
I
a
can't
true
argue
story,
with him
wasn't
on
it?
that.
Wasn't
It
it like
is based on a true story. It is the most
Well, it's based on
famous
a guy's claim.
alien story ever to come out, and I don't know it 100%. But what the story is and the gist of it is that these four guys were out in the woods. I think they were out hunting,
weren't
and
they like
they see this.
loggers? Like they
Uh,
worked for a logging
might have
company
been
or
Yeah.
loggers or
something.
something up like that. But the four guys are out there and they see this spaceship come down. One of them gets blasted by something from the spaceship, and the other three haul ass. Rightfully so. They thought their buddy was dead. I'd have hauled Boogie too. Um, anyway, he just up and vanishes for days. And it becomes this big thing where the cops are like, okay, you killed him. Where'd you hide the body? You're all in on it. You're all killers. Da 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 da. Da. And all of a sudden, he turns back up and he has this story about being abducted by aliens. And now his story backs their story. And he ended up having to do like one of those uh, memory mind regression things where they hypnotize you and try to get your memories out. And in doing so, it was a very disturbing scene. Eli mentioned the scene the
I've
other day
seen
in
it
the
a long
chat.
time ago.
Yeah,
Yeah,
back in the 90s.
how he first saw it by walking in on the actual um, alien abduction scene where they're doing the whole anal probe thing and everything like that to the poor guy. And that scarred Eli for life because Eli had boomer parents. And I'm like, yeah, good old boomer parenting. Your next parenting probably wasn't much better. But hey, we do what we can, you know. But yeah, boomer parenting. They didn't care where we were. That's why they had to have news ads back in the day that said, it's 10 p.m. Do you know where your kids are? Because boomers did not know. They really did. And yes, I'm
Yeah, my
calling
parents
you
were
out. If you were
stricter than
born
that.
before 1965, you're a boomer and you were a horrible parent. I'm just saying it right now. You didn't know where your kids were. Just accept it and move on with the conversation. My question to you guys in this entire thing is not only what movie do we need to do a epic remake and reimagining of, but do it with the Muppets.
With
And
the
more importantly,
Muppets. Oh shit!
what horror or thriller movie should we do?
Schindler's List.
Schindler's List with the Muppets.
I'm just trying to think of some crazy.
I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know. What about like
casting
Back to the
where.
Future with Muppets?
Oh, no. Back to the Future with Muppets is entirely feasible. You could put Beaker as Doc Brown.
Yes,
and,
I was thinking the same thing.
Make Fozzie freaking Biff. And the movie's just gonna work. It's gonna make itself. And we keep Michael J. Fox to play 16-year-old Marty McFly because even though, and I'm not saying anything about his health, but he still looks like he did 35 years ago, just about. Only he shakes a lot more because he has Parkinson's disease. So he could totally play Marty McFly. So
yeah. Well, I saw a concept trailer where they made it his son that was traveling time. I think you're the one that showed me that. But it was, it was just a concept trailer. It wasn't, anything serious.
Yeah, it was. Someone made a pretty well edited trailer for a supposed Back to the Future 4, but it's
yeah. Am I the only one that gets annoyed by those fake trailers?
When I realized it was fake, I'm like, because it kind of looked kind of interesting. I'm like, yeah, this might actually be cool if they actually made it. But then when I realized it was fake, it's like, oh, fuck you.
Hey, I think some of these fake trailers actually give people ideas, though, because I kept seeing a fake trailer for Beetlejuice 2. And then, lo and behold, we have Beetlejuice. Basically, what people kept saying, oh, my gosh, yes, make this happen. I think the problem was they had to get Michael Keaton on board, and they finally got him to go with it. And now we have Beetlejuice.
Well, it's like I remember years ago.
Keaton would have. I think Michael Keaton would have always been on board.
Yeah.
The problem is getting Tim Burton to do it, because Tim Burton has all of these irons in the fire. So it's getting Burton and Keaton. But for the Muppet experience, Eli says the Muppets doing Rocky with Beaker playing Mickey. No, it's not going to work. Beaker cannot play Mickey. If anybody's playing Mickey, it's got to be the big monster guy, and I can't remember his name. He's got to be the one playing Mickey. You've got to have someone that can say eat little lightning and crap thunder or something like that. I can't remember. Thunder and crap lightning, whatever the line was. I don't remember. I haven't seen that movie in 40 years. Muppets doing Nightmare on Elm Street. I could totally see Gonzo playing Freddy Krueger. That would work.
What about the Goonies?
Sam as Clubber Lang. Oh my God.
Who would play Chunk?
Sam as Clubber Lang. So Marshawn, give me a movie that you think deserves the Muppet treatment.
The question was so good. I couldn't even land it anywhere because every movie I put them in just made $10 billion in my head. I went Lord of the Rings, it worked. I went Harry Potter, it worked even better. I went The Grudge, it worked. I went Interstellar, I'm still working on that one, but it's working. It's just all working.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
Balls.
Wait. You want to do Spaceballs, the Muppet version?
Yes.
We're getting somewhere.
That'd be great.
We're getting somewhere.
They're in the process of making Spaceballs 2 finally after 30 some odd years. And now Spaceballs 3 is going to be out a year later with Muppets, an all Muppet cast. They're going to be
Fast
able to
Times
bring
at
John
Ridgemont
Candy.
High.
Fast Times at Ridgemont. It's a Muppet movie. Oh God. Guys.
Or hey, if you want to get a little more serious, we could do a Muppet Star Wars something.
I mean, that would be that'd be about like a Lego Star Wars or whatever. Or Muppet Batman.
Robin Hood, Muppets in tights.
Avengers.
See, the Avengers is so recent. It's still kind of on the MCU. Yeah, the MCU is almost 20 years old now. We get it, but it's still so ongoing. I feel like if we did a Muppet remake of that, it's too soon. We got to go with something older. We got to get something classic and do a Muppet remake of that.
Muppet Batman.
How about doing a Muppet movie with a human cast? No, see, Billy says do the Muppet movie with a human cast. I'm going to one-up that, okay? We're not going to do the Muppet movie with the human cast. We're going to redo the Muppet movie, but have all of the Muppets playing other Muppets. I'm just saying, have Fozzie playing Miss Piggy, have Gonzo playing Kermit, have Kermit playing Fozzie, have Benson Honeydew playing Gonzo. All of them just mixed.
Makeup team quit.
The entire, huh?
The makeup team is gonna quit.
Well, it's all the Muppets. So the Muppets don't got to. They're Muppets. Their makeup team is legendary. They're not going to quit. They just have to make the Muppets kind of look like the other Muppets so they can play the other Muppets. You know? Just
It'll
imagine
work.
it when Gonzo was sitting playing Rainbow Connection. That's my one-up to you. Forget humans doing the Muppet movie. I want Muppets redoing the Muppet movie as other Muppets.
What about a Muppet
Folks,
horror
you can
movie?
go to
Rocky
What?
Horror Picture Show.
A Muppet horror, or like a Muppet horror movie. Like you've been seeing all these like recent like Disney themed horror movies, like a Winnie the Pooh horror and a Steamboat Willie horror movie, like a horror with Muppets.
a full-on Muppet Scream.
Hey, if we did Rocky Horror Picture Show, who would do Tim Curry?
Muppet Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Yeah.
Honestly, that's the problem because Tim Curry's gotten to the point where we would have to figure out who would play Frankfurter, and what we would do is we would get Tim Curry to come back and do what he did for the TV remake that they did a few years back, where he played the played the investigator, the criminologist, where he did the criminologist part for Rocky Horror. We'll have Tim Curry do the criminologist, and then we got to figure out what Muppet is going to be Frankfurter. I would say go all in and make it Big Bird.
Muppets Half Baked.
Half Baked, the Muppet movie. Yes, that's a great idea.
Just do a stoner movie with Muppets. That'd be hilarious. That'd be awesome.
That would be pretty
Muppet
funny.
Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back.
Yeah.
How about a Muppet Dazed and Confused?
Put it right in there with it.
I would-
I'm just saying the Muppet Stoner movies need to be made. Somebody
Yeah.
get on the phone with Disney right now. Tell them I'm ready to do this. Send the Muppets to South Carolina. We'll get started filming. Marshawn, you can take care of sound design. We got this, man. Me and you. We're going to put this together.
I got it. It's
Muppet,
it's,
the
it's
Muppet
handled.
Disney. Just give me the Muppets. I'll produce the movies. It'll happen. They'll be awesome. I promise you. Everybody will be coming to see the Muppet Stoner movies. Muppet How High.
Yeah. Yeah. they're
Muppet Cheech and
torn
Chong.
out.
Reality Bites. Billy's talking about Muppet Reality Bites. Folks, you can support this
Open
show by
smoke.
going to patreon.com/The Carolina Storyteller or going over to thecarolinastoryteller.printify.me/products and checking out our merch store. We've got hats, we've got t-shirts, we've got glasses. If you're interested in Valmont, we even now have the Long Fangs flag. I know you don't know what the Long Fangs is, but Trav knows what the Long Fangs is. Trav might be excited to know that we have the family pirate flag with the symbol already ready to go.
Sweet.
And if not, I'll message you and let you know what I'm talking about later if you don't realize what I'm talking about. Just give me a thumbs up if you need me to tell you later.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay, yeah, I'll tell you later. All right, well, I'll let you in on the secret later. You might have missed it, but yes, we have the Long Fang pirate flag already ready to go. Going forward, as you know, the past 4 weeks, we've been prepping this. We did the cryptid championships for South Carolina. The Lizard Man won. Then last week, or last episode, we did this kind of exhibition fight between the Lizard Man and the Infield Horror, and the Lizard Man stopped it. So this week, we're beginning the National Cryptid Championship. We are bringing one cryptid from every state together to see who is going to be the biggest and baddest on the block. And we're starting off the year with a big one. Let me pull up the board so you guys can see what we're talking about here. We're looking at, where's my zoom in at? Ah, there it is. We're looking at the Alabama White Thang versus Maine Specter Moose. Yes, you heard that right. Alabama White Thang versus Maine Specter Moose. Now, um, you guys probably have no clue about these cryptids because they're from Alabama and Maine, but just off the rip, based off of the names, anybody, what are you thinking? Just going into this.
Oh shit! What were the names that? Um,
White Thang.
White
And what
Thang.
was the
You got it. And the other one is the Specter Moose.
Uh,
is it White? You said White Thang or White Fang?
White Fang was a
White
movie.
Thang.
White.
Thang. You have to say it correctly. It's Thang.
White Thang.
It's kind of like a
with a
Tribe Called
capital
Quest. You got to
A?
say the whole thing right. Capital A. White Thang.
I'm gonna go
Like
with
Tribe
White
Called
Thang
Quest. You
based
got to
on
say
the
the whole thing
names.
right.
Yeah, White
Knowing
Thang
nothing
is
about these
in the
cryptids,
lead.
just going based on the name. I'm going with White Thang.
All right. Well, all right. Now we're before we actually vote, let me tell you about these two guys, okay? The White Thing from Alabama was first seen in, I believe it was 1962, 63, or sometime in the early 1900s. It is a large, 8 foot tall creature. They usually say that it is bipedal, appearing to be like a big. They wanted. Some say that it looks similar to Bigfoot. Some say that it looks similar to a werewolf. Others claim that it has the ability to shapeshift, and it has shifted into the form of a large cat-like creature and chase them. The White Thing is very aggressive. It has flipped over cars. It has attacked people. Um, it generally stays in a small area in the middle of Alabama. Let me see if I can get the name of this location. Um, where is this place? It's between Morgan, Etowah, and Jefferson counties. And it's called the White Thing Triangle, is what they call that. Um, 8 foot tall, glowing red eyes, has also been resemblant of a lion or kangaroo with a cat's head. So I'm just saying, a giant 8 foot tall kangaroo with a cat's head is coming at you. Um, and of course, disappears without a trace. As quick as it's there, as quick as it's tearing stuff up, it is just gone. Hunters have gone out, researchers have gone out. There have been several sightings, but nobody can ever figure it out. Now, there are people who say, well, this is just an albino gorilla that got loose. That albino gorilla has been loose for a really long time because there have been sightings in the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, and the 90s. That's 4 decades of sightings. Now, I didn't get any from the 2000s or 2010s, but I mean, by this point, people are just probably like, look, we ain't messing with the White Thing, okay? I mean, you got to understand when they just name it White Thing and you know what that is, that seems like enough of a message
Yep.
to me not to mess with the White Thing. So that is Alabama scripted, the White Thing.
Don't mess with
Sounds like a
anything
pretty
that
serious
has
deal.
Thang in the title.
Yeah. So the White Thing is the terror from Alabama. We get that. He's the big hammer from Alabama. But he's going up against what may be his match in the Specter Moose from Maine. Let me tell you about this thing, okay? The Specter Moose is an all white, 15-foot tall moose with 22 points on one side of his antlers, just one. They weren't able to count both sides, but on one side they counted 22. So they're averaging at 44 points on the antlers. Now, for the record, are we sure it's not three rednecks in a trench coat? No, three rednecks in a trench coat would not be able to transform into a kangaroo. That's the only reason we know it. And yes, White Thing may be an adult film star, but in this case, Eli, White Thing very much is something to be feared in Alabama, apparently. But we're on the Spectre Moose for a minute. So this 15-foot tall monster of a beast with 44 points The average moose at full height stands about 8 foot tall, weighs 800 pounds, and the most developed adult mooses that they have found on average have 12 to 14 points combined on their antlers. This sucker is 15 foot tall, 44 points, and let's start talking about his sightings. Okay, he was first sighted in Maine in 1891. A man named Clarence Duffy, who was a hunting guide, was working around Lobster Lake in Maine when he saw the animal. He did not get close enough to take a shot, but he could plainly see the size of it. Now, he told his friends, and his friends were like, "Oh, you're crazy." And nobody believed him until a man named John Ross, who was also at Lobster Lake a few months later, encountered him. Now, in his sighting, he did get close enough to take a shot. He shot the moose. He hit the moose. He pissed the moose off. The moose came after him. The moose chased him. He had to hide in a bear cave for 4 hours while the moose paced around looking for him. And then the moose just disappeared. As morning came, the moose was gone. Oh, here's the other thing. The moose only shows up at night, and it has glowing eyes. Yes, glowing eyes that glow as bright as flashlights. Now, you'd say, oh, well, this is 1891. Surely this moose is not still out there. But it was seen in 1892 when a man named Van Ness encountered it with 3 other men from New York. Van Ness got separated from his companions, found the moose, shot at it, ran from the moose. He claimed the moose was twice as tall as a camel and had to weigh more than a ton. After shooting the animal in the shoulder, the animal let out a deep bellow and grunt before charging after him. Van Ness hid in a tangled mass of falling trees, and the moose circled for hours, jumping back and forth over his hiding place before giving up. One of his friends happened to watch the creature jump his hiding place 2 or 3 times, but was too scared to take a shot to draw the creature away. His friend was obviously very smart. Now, sure, we're talking 100 and some odd years ago. Surely this moose can't still be around, right? Wrong. This moose was sighted as late as 1987 when a young man spotted them. I'm sorry, I forgot about the 2002 one. We're going with the 1987 one first. A young man spotted the large moose, thinking it was an albino moose. He fired 5 shots at the thing. The thing didn't even flinch. It instead turned on him and chased him up a tree and kept him up the tree for about 6 hours. Now, during the time he was up the tree, he is the one that was able to count the points on the antler on the moose's head because as the moose was circling the tree, he didn't have much else to do but look down at that antler, and he counted 22 points, which if 22 is on one antler and 22 is on the other antler, that means there are 44 points on that moose's head, which is more than 3 times the largest known moose to have. I mean, he's just a monster. The last sighting that is on record was in 2002, where the moose actually slammed into the car the guy was hiding in before carrying on about its way. Now, there have been sightings that people have encountered this moose, and it's just kind of walked off. Hasn't really given a care. But anytime the moose has been shot at, it's just pissed the moose off. It's like Skinwalker to the 25th power with getting pissed off about it. So the question to the 3 of you is, we have the White Thing in one hand. We have the Specter Moose in the other hand. The 2 of them meet. Who is going to win this battle? Who is taking home this belt today?
How big was White Thing?
Huh?
How big was White Thing?
8 foot.
8 foot. I'm going with the Specter Moose.
My vote's on the moose.
Moose is, regular
Yeah.
size will fuck some shit up. A moose that's 15 feet tall with 44 points on its antlers. Yeah, that's gonna That's gonna tear some shit up.
Coming
Yeah,
into this,
I
I
mean, he's
honestly
been
thought
shot.
White Thing was going to take it.
Really?
But I think I honestly thought coming into this, just because what the White Thing was. But then I read about the Specter Moose, and I got to tell you, the thing is just scary. I would hate to encounter this thing, even if it was in a good mood. Like if
the
I
thing's
did, I'd hope it's on
bulletproof.
my
Yeah.
side. Yeah, I mean, moose in general are bulletproof. You have to get a special gun to hunt moose
Yeah.
because
You can't run them over with your car either. You'll just get your car smashed in.
yeah, a moose wins like 9 times out of 10 when you go up against a moose with something, the moose wins.
Mm-hmm.
But the White Thing I thought stood a chance. I honestly thought the White Thing was going to be a big contender in this cryptid battle. I thought the White Thing was going to be going, but I think this episode is going to be one of the biggest upsets for the season. If we all think that that's what tanks are for, yeah. If you're going after the Specter Moose, ladies and gentlemen, a tank is going to be required. So are we all in agreement? Are we all saying that right now here in here on not just Paranormal, we're all in agreement that the Specter Moose is going to take out White Thing?
Yeah, I say the Specter Moose is going to take it out.
Specter Moose.
Specter
I mean,
Moose
the
takes
only-
White Thing.
I mean, the only chance the White Thing has is if it just leaves the moose alone. Because it sounds like if you just leave it alone, it'll leave you alone. But you do anything to it, you're going to become a hashtag. You're going to become a Twitter hashtag.
Well,
If
the moose
mess
isn't
with
that
White
good
Thing,
at
you're
hide
going
and
on
seek,
t-shirt.
though.
No, the
Maybe
moose
he
isn't
can
that good at
outmaneuver
hide
him.
and seek. You know, White Thing might be able to pull something. I mean, White Thing can climb a tree. Moose can't climb a tree. White Thing could
Yeah.
come down from above. You know, White Thing could have some tactical advantages here and there, but
Yeah, he has thumbs.
Specter Moose is a 15-foot tall moose, and a regular moose on its own, you need a tank for. A 15-foot tall, gigantic, spectral moose. I don't know, man.
I don't know. White Thing has red eyes. No, the moose is definitely taking the cake for sure.
Doesn't the moose have glowing eyes too, though? I mean, that could just be reflective.
Yeah, I was just talking smack.
Yeah.
Oh man, this is actually, when I was setting this up, the Specter Moose I did not think was going to stand a chance. I was laughing at these. So
The Specter
we're
Moose
giving
has
it up.
been alive for over 100 years, so that thing's immortal, pretty much.
Yeah,
he
we
might
are
be
going
taking the whole chip.
to we're going to move the Maine Specter Moose into the winner's circle right there. The Maine Specter Moose is now moving on. So let's see this real quick. We're going to throw this up here. Maine Specter Moose is moving it on. It's going to go against whoever wins between Alaska and Massachusetts. So let's take a look at what's going to be coming up with those and what's coming up in the next battle. We didn't get to do, I was wanting to do a 2 for today, but we're not going to. Alaska has Tizarook. I have no clue what that is. But Maryland has Chessie. So, oh no, Massachusetts. I'm sorry. Massachusetts has the Dover Demon. So wait, who is going up against Maryland? Oh wait, that's on the other side. Let's take a look real quick. Let's get rid of my text real quick so I can scroll. Yeah, Arizona. The Mongolian Monster versus Maryland's Chessie is going to be next week's bout, and that could be interesting. Chessie is like Nessie, I think, but I don't know what the Mongolian Monster is. I'm going to have to do some research on that one. But White Thing is moving on. I mean, not White Thing. White Thing is not moving on. Specter Moose is moving on.
He's
Maine
back,
has,
White Thing.
huh?
Oh, no, I'm just ad-libbing.
Maine has claimed round one in this tournament. It's already been done. So the White Thing doesn't have privileges along monsters. No, there is no White Thing privilege, apparently. White Thing privilege does not exist. It's just not there. White Thing caught the beat down. We're coming up on that time again, folks. Unfortunately, I did want to try and get another cryptid battle in, and I'll try and fit one in next week. But we're gonna have to wait for a week before our next battle, and wait for 2 weeks before our next battle. Yeah, we don't do this show every week, unfortunately. We do it every 2 weeks. But we do have another battle coming up every 2 weeks. So we do have another show coming up next week. We're going to have recording artist Amanda Marie on as well. I believe Eli is going to be popping back in after his hiatus because we can't have him in here so much, or he'll be a co-host. And who knows who else? Who knows what else I've got cooked up? Somebody might be showing up. I don't know. I pull this out of my hat sometimes. But before I let you guys go, anything you guys want to tell the listeners and the fans about? We'll start with Jen. Are you in this year's Metal Maidens calendar?
No, I didn't really push myself this year. So maybe next year.
Okay, well then there's no reason to buy the Metal Maidens calendar, folks. It's not going to help Jen out. So, but you guys, Midgard's album Damage is out.
Yeah.
And you want people to go and get that album. So where can they get the album?
You can order it from us. You can order it from our Bandcamp. You can check it out on any of the streaming services.
And if you want a preview of that album, if you want to hear how good it is, all you have to do is check out Valmont the Black Raven Chronicles, because at the end of every episode, Bring the Night from the album Damage is the end credit song. It's awesome. It's freaking awesome.
Song I've heard a million times, by the way. Good song.
Marshawn listens to it every week. Like, how many times do I have to play this song? I'm sorry, man.
It's really a good song. I love editing it.
Marshawn's playing the song constantly. It's in his permanent playlist now. It's stuck in his brain. It's an earworm.
No, for real.
No, but it is one of my favorite. It is one of my favorite songs you guys have done, and that's why I picked it for the show, and that is why it's on the show. And if you guys have never heard Midgard before, watch the show, listen to the song, then go buy the album, and make sure you guys get a copy of Damage. Actually, let me see if I have it around here. I listen to the album regularly. I have my copy of the album usually right here, but I might have taken it to the car. I think I took it to the car the other day, so I don't have it beside me. Or do I? Give me a second. I might disappear for a second. Let me see. Nope. No, it's not there. Sorry. I would have shown off the album. But yes. Oh, wait. Jen's going to show off the album. That's what I'm talking about. There it is. Damage by Midgard. Go out, get your copy of it today. You guys can have a copy of Damage. Don't forget to look out for FBL Studios and Marshawn Fry and everything he's got going on. Check out Valmont the Black Raven Chronicles, where you can find Trav in 3 episodes, making his voice acting debut as a werewolf.
Yes, I need to record it.
Huh?
I need to record my lines for episode 6.
I thought you had your episode 6 lines down.
Huh?
Do you not have them recorded yet?
No, I don't think I've recorded them yet.
Okay, well, you need to get those recorded, because Marshawn's going to be doing episode 4 soon, and then you got like 2 months, and then Marshawn's going to be wanting those lines.
All right.
Let me tell you something. He's mean when he doesn't get his lines.
All right.
He once held Eli over a bridge.
I need those lines.
Suge Knight with Vanilla Ice.
But check out Valmont the Black Raven Chronicles. We'll be back in 2 weeks with another show. Again, thank you guys thank you, Trav, thank you, Jen, thank you, Marshawn, for being here. I hope you guys had fun, and if you guys want to come back, you're more than welcome to. We always like having our guests return and doing all kinds of crazy stuff with them. So, with that being said, this was Not Just Paranormal, and stay spooky, my friends.
Peace.